guys, in this video I would like to introduce you an experimental Python development environment that I've created for cloud web scraping purposes. So here you can write whatever Python code, and here is the console-like view that shows you the output of what your code actually does. So let's have a very simple example of creating a simple HTTP GET request to somewhere. So in order to do that, we need to say import requests and create a response object equal to requests.get and provide the URL, say http, well, say google.com, and also want to print response.text, and just press Ctrl Shift Enter, and here we have our response from Google. So of course, just like in regular Python, you can see the response object itself and so on. Also here we can go the object-oriented way, and just for the case of creating web scrapers, I've created the one-time scraper library and class at the same time. So let me quickly show you how one can make use of that. So we can simply say from ODS import all, and ODS is the file name containing the library basically, and here we can define the class, say scraper, that inherits from one-time scraper, and let's actually pass here for a while, and let's create the scraper instance. Scraper equals scraper, and here we can do say those HTTP requests using scraper.fetch method, and here provide the URL again. So I say simply https google.com, and it would print some debugging information regarding the particular HTTP request that was just made. Also, we can store the response to the text file. So let me just quickly demonstrate you that as well. So just say this would be the response. We can also say scraper dot do HTML and response dot text like this. So just quickly execute this stuff. Now we don't need to make our requests anymore, and now we can simply say scraper from HTML, and this would return us a string with a response. So response equals scraper from HTML, and if you just simply print the response here, you will see exactly the same response. So we are free to debug our scrapers without torturing the remote server that we're extracting data from. Also, we can store the response. Also, we can store the extracted data to CSV file. So another nice option here, that as far as this app allows you to directly execute Python code on the remote virtual Linux machine. That means that you can execute basically whatever command, whatever Linux system command, bash commands. So I also created a little library called hack that implements some of the most basic Linux commands. So say we can say hack.ls, and it will return us a list of files and directories in the current working directory where we actually are at the moment. So probably no directories here, so just but we can create a directory using hack.mkdir and say call this mydir, and suddenly we have that that mydir is available there. So we can also see what is going on in my directory, like this, but it's basically it's empty, so not a big deal. So also we can of course we can remove the directory. So say hack.rm mydir, and okay, so this is directory, so we need to specify the -r. command line option here. Also, we can remove the single file by simply typing its name, so response.html like that. Okay, but even more, this hack library doesn't implement that much of commands, so only some. So if we just quickly see the help regarding the hack library here, then we will see that it implements the cat function to print the file content, get current working directory respectively to see that. So a last command mkdir and rm and touch also allows us to write content to the file like that. But of course it's not all you could have kind of need. So if you just import the OS module, and we'll use the system os.system method here, and say you want to invoke the git command, and you know, in order to see the output in the std out from running this command, we need just to redirect the output to, well, let's call this out.txt, and also we can use our hack module here to say hack.cat and out.txt like this. So now we'll see the output of the git command here, but we don't really need that much the output for commands like git. So we can actually git clone some repository using this sort of application. So we can simply say git clone https github.com, then the username, and then the repository name. So I'll just clone the one-time scraper, the current application that I'm working in, and introducing to you guys. So .git here, and I just execute this stuff. So probably it would just return some sort of, or it didn't return anything, but that's just okay basically. So let's see the files here, the current working directory. So here we see that the one-time scraper has been successfully cloned. So let's try to see what's inside there. So one-time scraper, and we see here's the readme file and the app folder. So let's see what's in the app folder, and here we see that it's the app source itself and all the files. It's just a regular Flask application. So that's kind of it. And also, of course, we definitely can remove this. We can definitely remove this directory just like we did before. So simply say hack.rm and -r and one-time scraper and hit enter, and it has been removed successfully. So that's kind of it. Well guys, in order to run this on pythonanywhere.com, I had to buy a $5 per month subscription plan that allows you doing unrestricted, that gives you an unrestricted internet access, so you can make outgoing HTTP requests without getting blocked by the proxy of Python Anywhere. So at the free plan, only a couple of sites are whitelisted, say like google.com, probably a couple more. But when you want to go for cloud web scraping and run your web scrapers remotely, that is the case when you'll need to pay $5 per month to have the opportunity of making those HTTP GET requests.